We are live.
We are live. Brilliant. So welcome everybody. The tables are turned this time. I'm trying to take up the gauntlet, if that's English, and I'm going to interview Stephen Healey today. Stephen is one of the drivers behind the Wiltshire Business Club and its interviews. Stephen has been running this since, let me see, mid 2016, so the springtime 2016, and he has on a regular basis interviewed people in this kind of online format. I was really pleased to have been interviewed by Stephen a while ago, and I thought it might be an idea, or I'm surely think it is a great idea to interview Stephen. So here we go. I'm going to ask Stephen a couple of questions. Stephen, I hope all the electronics and online technical bits are working as they should.
Just a quick check, and I'm just going over to see, and I think I can say without fear of contradiction that it is. Wait a minute. Just a second. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not sure. Let's just carry on anyway, and we'll see what happens.
You're not sure of whether it's being recorded, or because we can.
Right. Hang on a second. It probably is. I'm just. It took me to a link. Anyway, let's just go for it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it will be working. If anybody is watching us, then if you could say hello, and all right, okay. And I've had it confirmed. I want to say hello to Tish Rosales and to Carlos Godinez, and welcome to this. And I'm not the interviewer this time. I have got to be good and answer the questions from Jan de Jong, who's a fellow member of the Wiltshire Business Club. And I'm going to be quiet now. Jan, over to you.
Okay, Stephen. So yes, welcome everybody watching now or still to jump into the platform at some later point in time. Welcome everyone. I'll be interviewing Steve, who interviewed me a while ago in this Wiltshire Business Club. So yeah, Stephen, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions, three main questions. The first question is very open, and I'd like to invite you to answer it in the best way that you feel is right. Stephen, who are you?
That's an excellent question to start with. I am, at the moment, a video chat show host, author, and trainer. Mm-hmm. In past lives, however, I started out as an accountant. Right. And I used to be an auditor, going around companies, checking the books, preparing the accounts, and I was happily doing that when I discovered computing. Mm-hmm. And since the 80s, I've been a computer programmer. I write software for companies who manufacture goods. I write software for companies who distribute goods.
So you know all about coding, do you? Coding things?
Oh yeah, I code in Pascal.
Right.
And basically, I design the software, I write the code, I install it on the site, and then I support it via Skype and other means. So my mainstay, and the one I get some income from, is the software I wrote many years ago, and I've kept it up to date. So it now runs on networks with quite a number of users throughout the UK. And that's basically the background is in accounting and then in computer software, which I enjoyed doing. And then I discovered live video, as Tish knows, discovered live video 2 years ago. And that's totally changed everything around, because now I concentrate on helping people go live on video. Now, on a personal note, I was married for 24 years. I have two sons. One is living in Clitheroe in Lancashire, and I have a granddaughter. He and his wife moved to Clitheroe about a year ago.
Where is Clitheroe?
Clitheroe is in Lancashire.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do,
Lancashire.
do you know where Blackburn is?
Yes, vaguely, yeah, yeah.
Okay, Manchester?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, it's 30 miles north of Manchester.
Okay. Very good.
My other son isn't quite as close, though, because I'm down in Wiltshire, as you know, because we meet on a sort of regular basis in the street. My other son is in Melbourne, and he and his wife, Karen, emigrated there 5.5 years ago, and have now become Australian citizens. And we keep in touch using a peer-in and things like that.
Yeah, brilliant. Interesting, very interesting. It strikes me that you were in the world of accounting figures and then moved to the world of computing, which I think there is a logical step from it, but they are different things, aren't they?
Well, what happened was this: I was working as an accountant in a travel agency, and they were a travel agency. They also ran a coach firm as well. And they wanted to do their accounts, but they wanted to do them on computer. So I found this piece of software written in BASIC, and I started doing accounts for them, and then accounts for their friends. And I started a bureau service. So they sent in their invoices, I put them onto the system, and we prepared the statements, sent out, people paid cash. So it's a full accounting system. And then the agency, travel agency I was working for, sort of said, well, what it'd be nice is, when you book a holiday through a travel agent, there are stages. First of all, you make the booking with a deposit, and they get a room 6 days before you travel, pay the balance. Yeah, that was the back in the day. I wrote a piece of software which did that. So when you went into the travel agent, it said, okay, who are you? Can we have your contact details? And in those days, people just gave their address and telephone number. And then we sent out a reminder 6 days before, due to go on holiday, and collected the cash. And any extras wanted, like travel currency, whatever, that was dealt with as well. Now, word of that software got out, and I was then recruited to join another company over in Roppenstall, which is also 30 miles north of Manchester. And that's how I got into computing. I went from being an accountant to writing software to being in computing.
I think the one thing that strikes me in both those areas of profession or expertise is you have to be able to think logically, don't you? Or numerically, perhaps, which is also part of logic. But for both areas, you have to think logically and work in a systematic way. And when I see you operate online and the way you approach these interviews and the way you set it up and close it off, it comes across as very systematic. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, in terms of broadcasting, you've got to hit people in the first 5 minutes, and you've got to close it down properly. Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I'm fortunate in that I have a group of people. I rarely broadcast on my own. It's a pleasure to be here today. But it's a group of people who make this work, and I'll give a shout out to them later.
Okay. And so, yeah, I've got some other questions, but I will incorporate them into the next part of this interview. So let's move on to the second question, Stephen, and that is what is your current what are your current activities? What do you focus on, and how do you go about achieving your goals nowadays?
Right. Okay. My goals nowadays, I wrote a book with Fraser Hay, which was published and is on Amazon, all about live streaming. And that started off my creating courses on Udemy. And
when did you, sorry to interrupt you, Stephen, when was that book published with Fraser Hay, and what's the title of the book?
The book was published in November 2016, and it's, well, you're asking now. It's how to make money from an online business.
Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting, because there's lots of people who not only want to do that, make money online. There's also a lot of people who, offer their services to help people do that.
Indeed. I mean, it was a meeting of minds. I did the live video side, and Fraser Hay, who is based up in Aberdeen, is a marketing. He knows everything there is to know. He's got about 20 books on Amazon, and he knows all about marketing and marketing structure and making the sale rather than talking about making the sale. And we melded those two together so that you actually got a combination of this is how you go online and this is how you sell. And both those aspects were tried and tested. So the book itself, it's a cliche these days, but it was an Amazon bestseller. So that was the start. And then this year I've created 7 Udemy courses all around live video. And also I produce shows for people.
Okay.
And I help people to go live. So that's basically what I'm interested in now is live video.
It's interesting when you say you help people to go live, and I need to pick you up on that because we spoke about this a little bit before before you pushed the record button, and that is, can you elaborate a little bit on what you mean when you say you help people to go live? What kind of concepts or topics come to mind when you say you help people to go live?
Right. The problem is, and especially in the UK, it's not so much a problem in the US. In